there is no difference amongst members of our political class. Who are the persons in the ADC? Are this person, were they not in the APC yesterday? More than 90% of the persons who you point out in what is the ADC today were either in the PDP or the APC itself yesterday. Rotimi Amaechi will come out and be preaching the gospel of how to save Nigeria, and he'll be telling, look, they are within their right to say those things they are saying, and that's why I've never been interested in their coalition. It is the Nigerian people who can change this situation.
But Rotimi Amaechi said he knows how to win against Tinubu.
To win to do what? That's the question. When they talk about coalitions, the first question I'm asking, and I asked the same question even of the candidate that I supported in 2023, and that I'm likely to be supporting if I'll be involved in the political process in 2027. What do you want to do if you gain the power? You want Tinubu out. Look, saints are not going to come and save Nigeria. Let me just deal with that ADC issue.
So there's no.
It's still Nigerians that will save Nigeria. But the question is this: whether you are in the ADC or in the Labour Party or the AAC or any party for that matter, what does that change mean? You want Tinubu gone. I want him gone as well. We wanted Buhari gone. Buhari went, but what replaced him? Another disaster. So question is this: what do you want? And if Nigerians are looking to the politicians to tell them what they want and to organize them behind what they want, we've lost 2027 already. Anybody waiting for 2027 has already lost 2027, because I guarantee you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the INEC as it is today, that in the absence of meaningful electoral reforms, the same thing that happened in 2023 will happen, and that is why you see better informed persons when it comes to politics in Nigeria, and nobody can be better informed than your governors and your senators who are running into the APC. They see how much we detest the APC, but they know that the APC holds the power unless this system changes in determining who is returned as president, governors, and elected officials in 2027. So anybody who is interested in change in 2027, whether those be the ones in the ADC or anywhere else, would need to find an alliance with the Nigerian people. An alliance between politicians will not do anything to move the needle. Tinubu is not going anywhere because politicians found alliances. He will remain in that place, and we will all continue to cry until 2031. Nothing will happen. He is a man very at home with impunity. He has no problem with it.
Are you implying that no matter what the coalition does,
if that coalition does not connect with the Nigerian people to the point where the people themselves are desirous of change and they are willing to stand behind their votes, nothing will change. In 1993, we didn't have IREF. There was no beavers. But we had free and fair elections because the people were tired. They wanted change. Even though it was subverted, they stood behind their vote, and we all knew the result. In 2027, that can only happen if the people are connected to the struggle for change. If all that they are doing in the name of coalition is that they are going to bring that odious fellow from Kaduna, and then they are bringing all kinds of characters that have ruined this country, the one who could even pay my father's gratuity in Osun, that's the one that is calling himself the secretary of the ADC. If it's those ones, they have lost. They need to connect with the people. Without connecting with the people to energize the people to want that change, 2027 is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Without the people, is a waste of time.
So how do you connect with the people?
It's very
with an
easy.
ADC that you said there is odious one from Kaduna, there is odious one from Osun that won't pay your dad's gratuity.
It's not only, we call him Baba Fusa, that's half salary. Baba Fusa, that was a sobriquet. He paid half salary all through his time. My father, if I wasn't able to take care of my father, he would have died years before his death. And that's the one who wants to go and, can that one talk to people in Osun State? He can talk to them. Maybe if they give them money like they usually buy vote, they will come out, they will vote if they can be paid, but they will not stand behind that vote. They will not stand when policemen come with soldiers and their talks. Those people will not, because they were paid to vote. They are not convinced that anything will change as a result of their votes. They are not invested in the process. So they will walk away. But if they are convinced that the future of their children and their own will be enhanced if there is a change in government, if they know what it means for change in education, in the structure of the country, in healthcare, in security, they will be interested because they know what to expect the day after. But you can't just paint them all these pictures. Look at that one in Imo State that was lying to the people that they were going to be having jobs abroad once they won the election. How many jobs have come from Europe for the people of Imo State since they went there? They're always building pies in the sky, and the people have come to the knowledge. There are so many governors Amunike all over Nigeria. Nigerians are aware that their politicians are fraudsters. So they have disconnected from the process. Do you understand? So a person who is disconnected from the process is not going to be invested in shifting the current reality unless you connect him to those realities. They are not doing that because they are not really looking for anything to change. Most of them are simply looking to be the ones administering the impunity. Not that they want things to change for the people. If you want things to change for the people, why can't you tell them the content of the change you are promising? Why is it so difficult?
What will be the way forward?
Connect with the people. Nigerians are resilient, but they are also persons who have the capacity to draw conclusions on their own. Nigerians are not unaware of the current state of their country. Forget all the lies that they have been told left, right, and center. They can tell when they are hungry. They can tell when they are safe. They can tell when their minds are at rest. And they know they are not right now. If anybody is looking to connect them, he has to show them in clear terms. If we win, this is how we will change things. It might be difficult. There is not going to be an easy path. In education, we already have an educational system that is unfit for purpose. We are graduating illiterates. Teachers themselves are illiterates. And we are not owning up to this truth so that we can address them. Tell the people. Tell them how you will not buy yachts. You will not buy new planes. And tell them what you will do with the money saved. Tell them how you intend to cut governmental waste. You have 36 states. Are we going to continue running 36 states, or these ones are already talking about creating more? Tell the people. Show the people by introducing confidence-boosting measures that their votes will count for something. There is no grand vision ruling Nigeria today. Give them something to pursue. No matter what you say about North Korea, every time you look at them, they will say, oh, they are starving, this one, that one, but they have nuclear weapon. As destructive as it is, that is something that a lot of better endowed nations are incapable of having. They have it under crippling sanctions. They have it. Look at the Chinese. We say they don't have democracy, but they are the most developed country, at least the fastest developing country in the world today. There is a national vision behind which the people are called. Who is calling our people to a national vision? So it's not like the people are incapable of rising above where we are. It is those who presume to lead that are ruining us instead of ruling us. They are not leading anywhere because they are blind.
Okay, so if Peter Obi emerges candidate of any political party, would you still support him?
Not necessarily. It will depend on what he plans to do with power. I'm not following a person. I'm not following man. He's a good man. And insofar as it relates to those who are running for the presidency, as of today, he's still the best in my own view. But the question is this: what kind of compromises might he have made before that? If I don't see a platform that promises me change, deliverable one, I'm not going to follow him. If he is on a platform where I know that he can deliver what he is promising and he will not be institutionally hamstrung by the system that has brought him to power, then I'll follow him. But if I'm seeing a Peter Obi paired with an El Rufai on a ticket, or I'm seeing him with an Amaechi. In fact, it's not even possible. But the point is, there has to be clarity as to what he plans to do with power. This illusion of personnel change was sold in 2015, and that was what brought us into the Buhari mess. So how would a Peter Obi on his own, without galvanizing the people behind the vision, change anything simply because he was given office? I need to know what that power is meant for.
Okay. So he has to convince you.
Oh, I have to be convinced. It's not, no, I have to be convinced. I have to know that he is going to pursue change.
And if he plans to pursue change and the system still remains the same, you still have the same National Assembly.
You cannot change anything retaining this system. You can't change anything. You can get into power, but you must be clear about what you want to do with that power, and you must be honest enough to have declared it so that we can hold you to it. It's not enough to be making silent deals that you change. No, that change has to be on the table.
Okay.
If we had substantive changes to be discussing and debating, we would have stopped debating ethnicity, religion, and all kind of idiocies that tend to occupy Nigerians. The only reason they have time to be discussing inanities is because they don't have anything serious to discuss. The government and the people within Tinubu's government and their beneficiaries, they should say what they are saying, since they consider Nigerians to be incapable of determining by themselves and have to be told whether they are hungry or not. The reality is, where were we 10 years ago when the APC government came to power? I know they like pointing at Buhari as being the disaster that preceded this disaster. But the reality is that it's the same APC. There are persons within that government of Buhari that are inside this same government. Somebody like Kiyamo, for instance, of the 712 billion naira airport renovation budget. So they should say that the system is getting better. It is their right to say so. They are enjoying, their lives are getting better. The average Nigerian whose real income has evaporated will not say what they are saying. The real Nigerian who is spending his salary to fill a car tank, a car that he knows he cannot replace by the time that car packs up because his salary is meaningless, his business devalued. The naira itself, the naira is so devalued that you'll probably find more dollars in the Nigerian bank than the naira cash. That is how bad. They're talking about infrastructure development. You see, the problem with us is that we tend to look at issues superficially. A government supposedly serving the people unilaterally awarded the contract for a road to Calabar, coastal road to Calabar. Of all the things required by Nigeria, with almost 20 million children out of school, under the ages of 14, out of school, almost 20 million. That is the population of a lot of countries, both in Africa and in Europe. But we have 20 million brains that we can discard because all they need is to recruit more agberos, more terrorists, more headers, more bandits, more people who are incapable of questioning them even as they destroy the country. So it's okay. They don't need to fix that rot. They don't need to fix the rot in healthcare that has seen almost every doctor of note fled the country. There is absolutely no need whatsoever to take a look at critical infrastructures that have collapsed completely. But of course, we must build a road to Calabar. And people focused exclusively on the stealing that attended that contract. Because if a contract did not go through due process, it is safe to say it is stealing, brazen-faced stealing. Now, there is an adjunct. In building that road, lands were created, and that was always the add-on that people didn't pay attention to. That road was used to grab people's land. Nobody is paying attention to that. The road was unnecessary. It was not required. There are other things that should take priority. Nobody is talking about that. So when they come out and they'll tell you about all the things that are working, it's working for them. But how much is the Nigerian paying in real cost for what they are saying? So they can be rebasing numbers and tweaking the numbers to make it look good. But have they made our pockets feel better? Can the average Nigerian go to the market and be able to feed reasonably well on their salaries? I doubt if up to 5% of those who earn salaries in this country live on their salaries.
Are you saying that there is nothing good coming out of this government? Is there anything you can point to?
I think it has now come to the point where I must thank God for the APC, for Tinubu particularly, and for how they have helped. I don't need to say much to show the average Nigerian the level of putrefaction that has now attended every layer of governance in this country. Because of them, it is easy to see the level of impunity that governs Nigeria. Aside from that capacity to show us how low governance can fall in Nigeria, there is nothing they have shown. It's not like they've been any worse than the Buhari regime in terms of policy choices. They were, at least they were, if nothing else, they were consistent in saying that they will build on the ruinous foundations of Buhari, and they've done that reasonably well. Nobody can take that away from them. But when it comes to the impact on the average Nigerian on the street in their homes, this government has been ruinous. From the Plateau to the Benue Trough to the rainforest of southern Nigeria, Kwara, people are running away from villages. They are abandoning villages in Kwara. The insecurity that they are pointing at is not just that it's worsening, it's that it's spreading. It's spreading. Even within townships, within cities, even Lagos, Ibadan, you are having an upward swing in kidnapping. It's not just about Fulani kidnappers anymore, kidnapping for ransom and all of that. It's not about that anymore. It's become an industry on its own. People can't even walk around freely in cities and they are crowing and talking about how well they are doing. These are real issues that the average man on the street can answer. It's a pocketbook thing. If the thing is getting better, we would all know. It will show up in the price indexes. When we go to the market, we'll see how far our naira can travel. The reality is that naira has evaporated. Even banks are not having it. You know, because we've been in this mess for decades, what has happened is that Nigeria has created alternative narratives in place of truth. So we elevate villains and paint them as though they are men who have delivered value to society. Muhammadu Buhari pursued power assiduously 30 years after he came back into power. I don't believe in speaking ill of persons who can't defend themselves. It's not about speaking ill of the dead. If you've done ill when you were alive, I reserve the right to speak to your deeds after your demise. He's dead now. So what pains me is that a jury of his peers, fellow Nigerians, never found the opportunity, we were never offered the opportunity to confront him with his many crimes against Nigerians. The pinnacle of that crime, of those crimes, was the Lekki Toll Gate massacre. He was the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. What they did is documented. A tribunal confirmed what was done. It is a travesty that even years after the fact, 5 years, almost 5 years now, we can't even say how many people died because government continues to deny the undeniable. In the face of all of the evidence, the government continues to deny it. That alone is scary, that we are in a country where those who are maintained from the public purse are denying the murder of citizens in broad daylight. It's not even the murder alone that has now been denied. The very humanity of those persons, it's almost like you erase them like they never existed. And there are precedents for that. It happened when Abacha was taken over in 93. It happened in Zaria with Buratai and the Shia. Was that Zaria or Kanfaji? I can't even remember. Somewhere in Kaduna State. And then it came in broad daylight and it happened right here in Lagos. That is on one hand. And then what happened in northern Nigeria? We're talking about an elite class. What is it about our country that you can point to and describe as being elite? Nothing. Nigeria, as big as we were, we just got whooped 4-0 by Sudan. That's half a country that was. Where are the football pitches that used to produce good footballers? The school sports system, what happened to it? Is that elite? That's the beginning of the putrefaction, the disappearance of every infrastructure that ought to support the production of the kind of men and women that used to represent us in the past. Everybody who can escape escapes, and most of the time when you need to find talent to do things in the name of Nigeria, they go and bring people who don't even have Nigerian passports but have Nigerian parentage. So Nigeria has been emptied of potential to the point where they can't even find persons within the country. If they make it a condition that the players must play within the country, be born within the country, we'll probably not be able to field teams in a lot of sports. I think there was a time I was asked the question, you were actually the one who asked the question, is Tinubu my president? And I answered you very clearly. I am trained as a lawyer. I am not an anarchist. Whether I like the idea or not, whether I accept the process that threw him up or not, the reality is that today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the de jure president of Nigeria. Whether I like it or not, that is the person our system, imperfect, flawed, corrupt, prone to impunity as it is, has thrown up as our president. But beyond that, I retain the right as a conscious being to call what I see what it is, not what my oppressor would prefer that I call it. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not come through a process governed by the free will of the people. No. A man announced the election result without a basis for announcement, no result from the states shown to anybody, and he blithely told everybody in the middle of the night, go to court. I will not speak to how good or bad that judiciary is. Today is not the need. We've said enough. I've written on that. I've said enough. The book I wrote on the judiciary was ready before the Presidential Election Tribunal delivered its result. But I deliberately delayed it because I didn't want that book politicized. I did not want it to seem as if I was scandalizing the judiciary for political reasons. And the book was not about persons. It's about the system. So he is the president. Let's leave it at that. But when it now comes to the actions that he has retained Egbetokun in office outside the dictate of law is beyond argument.
The law says he has the right to choose whoever becomes the
within a prescribed. If the law gives you the power to do something, that's the beauty of the law. The law gives you a power and then it sets out the limits of that power and how that power should be used. Egbetokun in office is an abuse of power. But Yele did nothing wrong. It is the thin skin of the Inspector General that led them into the error of arresting him over what? If there is any substance to this, if you have crimes that you want to charge persons with, there are proper ways of doing things. Even if you want to pursue a vendetta, at least do so looking like you are doing the dictate of the law, not like you are just chasing after a man because he's constantly calling you out for being in office illegally. The government and the law are not the same thing. The government commits a lot of illegalities, and there are a lot of legal things they also do, but there must be a distinction clearly made. Tinubu's word is not the law. The law is different from the government. Executive order cannot be found outside the boundary of law. If your executive order
is not questioned by the National Assembly.
Which National Assembly? It's the same National Assembly that changed national anthem in 72 hours. They've told you they will do anything they are told by Bulaba. They are not arguing with the president. Anything he wants, they give him. Is that the same National Assembly that didn't have any oversight on the two most meaningful contracts that this government has issued? The Lagos-Calabar Expressway did not pass through any oversight. It wasn't budgeted for. It wasn't in the national budget. The major power of the legislature is the purse. They never saw a budget for Lagos-Calabar Expressway. They saw no budget for the airport renovation. Are those the ones that you are saying that, executive, please, the least we can do to ourselves is to at least tell ourselves some bare-faced truth. We do not have a legislative arm worthy of the name. So if the president, we're essentially in a dictatorship. It is whatever Tinubu wants that Tinubu gets. Monkey see, monkey do. He demands, he gets. If we can't tell this to ourselves, then we can't even tell the truth. What we do about it is different. What it is different. What it is today in Nigeria is that the Nigerian judiciary, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian legislators, each and every one of what should pass for institutions in every other country in the world would do exactly as they are told by the president.
2027 is coming upon us. Some members of APC that said, oh, a bunch of thieves and people that didn't do well in government have put themselves together and said they're joining ADC, and they now think they will be the Messiah of Nigeria, that they cannot be.
If voting Tinubu is reinforcing failure, and you want us to vote him out in 2027, because we should never reinforce failure, is it not reinforcing failure to allow the likes of Aregbesola, David Mark, to take over the leadership of ADC? Is that not reinforcement of failure? Because these are the same people like Senator Dino Melaye, Malami. You are giving them control of an opposition party that is supposed to stop failure. Is it not reinforcing failure to stop failure? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Abi? Is that how they say it? If it is reinforcing failure to allow Tinubu a second term, I would therefore say that it is also reinforcing failure to force the likes of David Mark, Aregbesola, Dino Melaye, Malami on the ADC as leaders. Except you want to tell me that there are no credible young Nigerians in the African Democratic Congress, in that coalition, that can move and drive the party to success, then what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If we will allow a David Mark to be chairman of the ADC, then what is wrong with allowing Tinubu to go for a second term? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. I am against Tinubu going for second term because he has failed. Nigerians are being punished on a daily basis with his policies. He has only succeeded in enriching himself and his cronies, not even his tribe. Because really, can you say that Yorubas are enjoying under Tinubu? You can't say that. I know a lot of Yoruba people that are suffering. The majority of the Yorubas are suffering under Tinubu. So you can't even say he succeeded as a Yoruba president because Yoruba Lokon. He has failed. In terms of oil and gas, he has failed. In terms of power generation, electricity, he has failed. In terms of price education, he has failed. In terms of fighting corruption, he has failed. In terms of security, he has failed. And I agree that he should be a one-term president. We should not reinforce failure. But moving forward, in order for us to manifest the new Nigeria that we know is possible, we cannot reinforce failure by allowing disgruntled politicians to hijack the party called the African Democratic Congress. This is not a call to support Nafiu Bala Gombe. It is not. Because many of you seem to think that. The idea is this. There must be a level playing field. Those who failed Nigeria yesterday cannot in any way be in a position to fix Nigeria today. When they have had multiple chances to fix Nigeria, they didn't fix Nigeria. David Mark, Dino Melaye, all these people know is how to use public funds to enrich themselves. I can never be comfortable with them. I am not comfortable that Peter Obi is in their midst. I am not even certain. I doubt very strongly that they will give Peter Obi a ticket if they are able to resolve this leadership crisis in time. I doubt it very, very much. But here is the thing. Even if Peter Obi gets the ticket on the ADC platform, which will be a miracle, I still will be uncomfortable working with these people who have contributed tremendously to the destruction of Nigeria, to the nationalization of Nigeria's debts, and personalization of Nigeria's profits. A leopard cannot change its skin. Don't give me this excuse of, oh, they are now born again, they are repentant. They are not repentant. If they are repentant, will they take over the ADC the way they did? Would they not have gone about it a democratic way by asking Rauf Aregbesola to call for a national convention by respecting the constitution of the ADC? Would they not have done that? The fact that they didn't do that shows to me they are not repentant. They are just disgruntled, sad that they have been displaced, out of power, and their sources of cheap, free income is no longer there, and they are hiding behind, we want to save democracy, to force themselves on Nigerians again. That I am not comfortable with. So yes, Obasanjo has said it, never reinforce failure. It's good for Tinubu, it is also good for Atiku and David Mark and Aregbesola and Dino Melaye and Malami. The only exception there is Peter Obi, because he did well as governor of Anambra State. The only coalition that we need is a coalition of the people. That was what we had in 2023, and we succeeded to a large extent. If not for lack of proper coordination, we would have gone all the way to Aso Rock. So don't come and tell me, oh, PDP got 6.9 million votes. If we added that to Peter Obi's 6.1 million votes, it would have been more than that of Tinubu. Don't give me that excuse. If Peter Obi goes it alone right now, with the awareness and experience that we have, with the structure that we can build, in 2027, we get all those votes for Atiku. We will get all of them. Because those votes were not really for Atiku. They were for PDP. But right now, with the level of experience of hardship and poverty that Nigerians have gone through under Tinubu, they will do the right thing. So what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Don't forget to check the link and check out votewatch.pro. That is the solution to free and fair elections in 2027, without which Peter Obi cannot get to Aso Rock. Check it, sign up, become a PU Marshal. Let us guard our democracy together.